Afternoon, Gossip Talk Shows family. It's Namsa here at Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, those who are watching us around the world. And hope you guys gonna have a beautiful, beautiful day. And hopefully your Valentine's Day will continue right through the year. It's not just gonna be a one-day thing. How are you, Amanda and Grant?
Good, ready to be here. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, it's Valentine's Day. What are you guys doing today?
Working and going to the gym. It's giving my
I,
daughter a present.
I'm just back from Scotland. I got back from Scotland a day or two ago. I go there each year to a lovely little lodge overlooking the misty lochs in Scotland. And I do a little bit of work there, but I go there to get away. And I suppose it is a very romantic setting, actually. I sent a picture to a lady I know, and she said, "Oh, that looks really romantic." And I'm like, "Well, I'm there with my buddy, so I'll let you know. I'll let you know if it ever is romantic. If I take someone romantic there, but I was just there with a friend. But what am I doing? I'm going to spend this Valentine's with someone that I truly love. I'm on my own, so I'm staying. So I'm going to be with myself. To be honest, it's easy to overlook Valentine, but I think this is a great subject for today because it's a timely reminder. So lots of people there. I will probably wish my sisters happy Valentine's and all my friends and everybody here. But it is a great time. It is a great time of year. It's a great time to reflect upon the subject because I think it's going to be an interesting show and see how this one unwraps. So that's where I've been. That's where I am now, and I will be celebrating. Have a nice meal tonight. Maybe ask a friend over. Maybe just hang out a little bit and do stuff like that. We'll do that. So that's what we're going to do. So I might. I've got a couple of female friends. If they're loose and they're not doing anything, they can come over. We can hang out and watch a movie or something. So that's me. What about you, Nomsa? What are you doing?
I never go out on the actually Valentine's Day myself. Normally we cook a nice meal, we stay at home and watch a nice movie, and then we have a nice pudding ice cream or anything cheesecake, anything nice. I don't go out on the actually Valentine's Day. Let's say like today's Tuesday, or even if it's weekend, I go out the following weekend to avoid the business because otherwise it goes so busy. It gets so busy. Everyone is out. And I just like to go out and have some peace and quiet. So we'll go out next week, the weekend. Got 2 days to go out. Uh, Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. So yeah, but my daughter was reminding me about Valentine's Day. She goes, Mommy's Valentine's Day today. So you do know you have to buy daddy flowers. I was like, no, I don't. He has to buy me flowers. We can go and get him a gift, but he's going to buy mommy flowers. She goes, really? I was like, yeah. She goes, yeah. So you have to buy, I thought you buy daddy flowers to remind him how much he means to you. I was like, okay, Kayla, calm down. Yeah, but I don't go out on the actually day, Valentine's Day. I don't go out. I stay in. I do nice things, but I try to stay in because otherwise it gets so busy and so romantic in the restaurant when everybody else is out. It's so full. So yeah, but I'll be celebrating Valentine's Day over the weekend. And also it's my father-in-law's birthday today. So we'll be celebrating his birthday with him as well. So I've already arranged everything for him, the cake and everything. He's in a care home, so we'll go later. So we go all planned. He was born on a Valentine's Day, lucky man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
Yeah.
double celebration. Double celebration.
So back to this topic, and I like this topic, releasing your ego and enhancing your relationship. It can be a transformative journey that requires self-awareness, empathy, and commitment to personal growth. So today we're going to share some tips and process. And the most thing, the first tip is practice self-awareness, reflecting on your thoughts and emotions and behavior, and regularly understanding the triggers that lead to ego, and also the drive, anything that drive the reaction to it, and also identifying patterns in your behavior that may stem you from your ego, and such as defensiveness, judgment, or and or a need to always be right. Um, I like the judgment. We were talking about it yesterday at a university's event. We're talking about the judgment, how judgment plays a part. We're talking about mindfulness. So that's where the topic, I got the ideas of the topic for today. So what do you think, Amanda, about this topic, releasing your ego and enhancing your relationship?
I think so much of our journey of growth, it revolves around our ability to release our ego, whether it's in relationships or just in self. It's really about really trying to get grounded and grow and become the best versions of ourselves. And ego can kind of be that like little thing on your talking shoulder saying like things that maybe don't lead you on the right path. And so I think when we start to begin to be like our true authentic selves, where we're really grounded and mindful, it really can begin to enhance our relationship with ourselves first. And then it like vibrates out to all of our other relationships as well. And I think too, even if you're not in a relationship, allowing your ego to kind of like step to the side, and it helps you to really just grow and be able to step into your authentic power. That's not an ego driven power, it's an authentic power, and that's a very different sense of power than one that's ego driven, because the ego can get hurt really easily if things don't go your way. But if you're stepping into a power that's authentic, if you have to like shift and navigate, it's like you understand that it's part of the journey and it's part of your growth, rather than if it doesn't go exactly how you have planned, that you have like a temper tantrum because the ego gets mad that it didn't work out, right? And so I really think that the letting go of your ego affects not all relationships, not just romantic relationships, but most of all, it affects your relationship with yourself first. And that I think is really, really important, because there's so many people in relationships that are really unhappy, and maybe they even stay in that relationships because of ego, because they don't want people to think that their relationship fell apart, right? And I know for a long time I tried to keep my marriage going because I was worried about what people would think if I got divorced, right? And but now I view it as like something that was really, really positive, that it was the best thing that could have happened to me and my daughter, because then it allowed me to learn and grow and not be stuck in an unhealthy relationship because I was unwilling to say that my relationship failed, right? So lots of people are afraid of that feeling or that judgment from other people, but that's coming from ego. That's not coming from your best version of yourself. And I 100% believe you should do everything that you possibly can to try to make your marriage work. But there's some that are just really unhealthy relationships, and you need to set your ego to the side and be like, what is the best option for me and my child from an authentic, mindful place? And if that's not to be in an unhealthy marriage, then let go of your ego and be like, it's okay that this relationship failed. A better version of me is coming.
I think you raised a great point there about people staying in relationships for ego. I was thinking of it from a different point of view. I was going to say jokingly that I thought the whole idea of being in a relationship was that it massages your ego. I was going to say that jokingly, but it is so true that a lot of people do get in relationships. This is not going to be a show about don't be in a relationship and leave someone, but it is a good point to analyze the whole relationship and why you're in it. You know, why are you doing anything? And this is one of my themes lately for everyone I come into contact with my clients and stuff is why are you doing what you're doing? You know, why are you tuned into this show right now? Why are you tuned in? What are you hoping to get? There must be a reason that you're here. Otherwise, why'd you do anything in life? Yeah, you must know why you're doing things. And that gives you a lot more direction and clarity. And if you do that with relationships also, and you analyze it and wonder, am I in this relationship just for ego? Is it just for my ego? Is it for a status? Is it to make myself feel better, more complete? And okay, yeah, a good person will complete you, I guess. But always ask yourself why and what are you bringing into it? I was talking the other day, literally over the weekend with someone about ego. And I was saying that, you know, ego takes up a lot of space in a relationship. I noticed there was a couple, and this couple were always kind of bickering with each other. And because they're not getting appreciation from the other person, they're always boosting their own confidence, telling people how great they are, etc., which repulses the other person. But, and this is what I observed, is that when you're boasting yourself, no one else will ever compliment you because there's no room left. Okay, oh, I'm great at this. And did you notice how great I was at doing? Wow, I'm fantastic. People go, okay. I guess there's no point in saying anything because you've said it all. But often, the more modest you can be, the more you can get your ego out of the way and leave that vacuum. That vacuum, that space, will be filled with something. And that normally allows someone not to be rattled by someone being egotistical, but often to stop and appreciate what that person does. And then they'll often say, thanks for doing that. I really noticed how great you are at doing this sort of thing. And they'll boost your confidence, which feels way better than having to boast yourself. So it is very, very important, I think, to leave what I call that vacuum. Because, or in other words, there's a void. In the world of hypnotherapy, we always say, always avoid a void. Or in other words, always fill a space. Whenever you take something out, a bad habit, replace it with something good. And I think this is a phenomenon that goes across physics, goes across science, goes across sociology. When you leave that space, i.e. don't boast, someone else will compliment you. Okay? So I would say we also need to take responsibility. We need to take responsibility to look out for those other special people in our life, because maybe they're not being egotistical. But my question to all of us is, are we complimenting other people? Perhaps we're not. Because if you do compliment people, I don't mean just, being really gimmicky and, oh, that's wonderful, oh, I love you, doing that because people can sense when it's false. But are you really being observant and noticing those little things that people do for you? If you do, just say thank you. Just say, I notice it and I appreciate it. It makes such a huge difference. And guess what? They'll love that feeling, and I'll bet they'll find a few things to compliment you on too. And that way, everybody starts to feel better. Ego gets out of the way, confidence improves, relationships flourish. There you go. What do you think, Momsa? What do you think about that?
I like that when you say when you're boosting yourself too much, there's no room for compliment in a relationship. I've never really boasted about how good I am in a relationship. I take each day as it comes. Uh, to me, I learn from people when it comes to relationship, and also I've learned the power of gratitude as well, how important it is to actually show the other person that you appreciate them, and for them being into your life is a blessing. I've never really shown in a relationship that, or maybe I'm better than the other person. I never seen that way. Do people do that? Yes, actually they do. There are some people like, yeah, we think, but it doesn't work because the relation it wouldn't work because the relationship is a it's an agreement. There has to be an agreement, a partnership where two people come to an agreement and play one song and harmonize it in it might be in different tunes, but meaning the same thing. I like it, Amanda, when you say that people stay in a relationship even when they know that the relationship is not working because they are afraid that if they leave, people will start judging them. I think I used to have that attitude as well, where like when I wanted to get out of my relationship, I worried about my family, how they going to think about me, and they would think I'm a bad person, and even my friends. And also you mentioned that when shift and navigate understanding whatever is happening in that moment is part of your journey, whether is it like if a relationship is not working, we need to understand that whatever we go through in life, problems are part of that journey. If things are not working, they're not working. And people always judge it anyway. They'll always have something to say, whether you're doing the right thing or you're doing the not the right thing. So you might as well make a decision based on what you think is right for you. And when you make that decision, don't feel guilt about it or don't feel ashamed either, because it's a journey. It's a journey we all have to learn. If I didn't have divorce, I wouldn't know anything about relationship. Maybe I would have stayed and my life would have been different, a different journey. Maybe I would stayed feeling comfortable, but having a relationship that didn't work, it made me like look at my life and wanting to change my relationship, and it made me wanting to practice self-awareness to really go deep, so I can understand why my relationship didn't work. And also it made me wanting to actually understand the power or letting go and not being right all the time, because I remember surrendering and saying, God, I know my relationship has not worked, but right now I don't want to blame myself and I don't want to blame the other person. And I just want to go deep with my life and just dig deep and find the solution, the pattern, the cycle of the pattern and break it. And I did that. But now that I'm in a relationship, I just enjoy the ride. I enjoy being different, the differences between me and my spouse. He tells me off sometimes, I tell him off sometimes. But I don't do this argumentative big fight where I'm like, I want to prove that I'm right. I don't do that. I don't know if anyone knows, like, have you ever had any clients grant that they are like they want to prove to their spouse that they are right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Before I go into personal development, I would just want to stick it to my spouse, my ex, and say, I'm right, you are wrong. I would just try to find really like evidence just for him to feel it, the pain of being wrong.
No, it's very true, Namsa. But we used to have a boss years ago, and he used to say to people, "Do you want to be rich or do you want to be right?" He used to say to people, um, because some people just want their ego again gets in the way, and they just want to. No, no, my point is right. No, well, you're not right. And somebody said to me the other day, "You always want to be right, don't you?" I said, "No, I'm the first person to admit I was wrong and apologise. Equally, I will not say I'm wrong when I'm right. I'm just very straight. I'm like, well, no, I'm right about that." And sometimes people say, well, I think this. I say, yeah, that's an opinion. It's not a fact. You know, I'd like to talk in facts, but I know most of life is opinions and beliefs. But if I'm talking about a fact, I'll say, well, no, it's not a debatable thing. It's a proven fact that that is a case. You know, it's nothing to do with the fact that I'm saying it. It's just a fact. But when it comes to opinions, of course, that's a different thing, isn't it? Everybody has an opinion on something. But if you add up two and two, it's four. It's not an opinion, is it? You know, it's four. It's a fact. It's not a question of wanting to be right or wanting to be wrong. It's just it is a proven fact. But I think you're absolutely right when it comes to, and you said something very nice there. The way you said it, Mom, is that you know you both tell each other off. But the way you said it was in a very nice way. It's not accusational. It's not vindictive, and this always comes back to one of my key words. It's intention. Um, I'm currently sorting out a dispute in a company. I'm not involved in it, but I'm just helping to sort it out. And they said to me, "What are you trying to achieve?" I said, "Just the truth. Just the truth and fair play. That's all I'm trying to achieve for them. The truth and fair play. It's nothing to do with taking sides. Not at all. Nothing to do with this person's more my friend. No, not at all. Not remotely. It's purely trying to understand the truth because I've heard this story. It sounds like the company's been really bad to this person. Yeah, it sounds like that, but I've only heard one side of the story. I need to hear the other. I want to know what's going on under the background because I suspect there's something going on, a bit of an undercurrent that is not coming out yet. I suspect there's something not being said. There's something there, and I want to get to the truth and ensure fair play. Nothing to do with that ego, nothing to do with me scoring a point because, you know, it's just hassle I don't want to sort out. But I don't want to see someone hard done by. I don't want to see the company acting unfairly. Equally, I don't want to see the company being treated unfairly by an employee. Absolute fairness. That's the whole thing. And if there's any egos in it, I shall cut them down pretty quickly. I won't be dealing with it. But I'll deal with them privately so that nobody's embarrassed in public. That's why it's always about protecting someone's integrity, which comes exactly back to our subject today. Because if you protect someone's integrity, i.e., you don't embarrass them, they're much more likely to open up and be honest and reveal. So, with that point, if you don't embarrass people, my point is for all of us, don't embarrass ourselves. Don't be boastful. Don't be egotistical. Because let's be honest, you can smell it a mile off what people are doing. And when you can, it's really, really unattractive. It's very unattractive. So don't do it. Confidence is fine. Confidence is a very, very attractive thing. Very attractive. Confidence and ego are very different. Ego is ugly. Confidence is attractive. So remember, just be, and the more able you are, the less egotistical you are. Normally, you don't. When you're great at something, you don't have to shout from the roofs about it. Just be good. Now, I appreciate that not all of us are actually feeling that great about ourselves at the time. Sometimes we don't feel we've accomplished that much. We don't feel we're that great in this or in that. And I get that. You know, we're all like that sometimes. But the point be, just try to stop yourself if you're being a little egotistical because we feel hurt. We feel a little bit put down. So we want to stand a little bit taller to get noticed because we're feeling a little bit shorter in the crowd than we should. So, you know, we want to stand up a little bit higher. And that's where ego comes in. It's very understandable. It's a very natural thing, but it doesn't do you any favors. So if you can, catch yourself in the butt because somebody else may not remind you. They may talk behind your back, but they may not be a friend enough to tell you to your face. So you've got to be your own best friend and look out for yourself and think, this is not really serving me well. Be a little bit more modest. Be confident by all means. Somebody asked yesterday, well, how do you become more confident? And my thoughts were, well, I know how I can become more confident, but I don't know about you because we're different people. What would it take for you to feel more confident? Not egotistical, but more confident. What would it take? What would make you feel more confident? Whatever that is, make a plan to get that, to achieve that. Whether that means, I don't know, I'm just going to put an example out there. Being 2 kilograms less weight, less heavy. Right. Make a plan to lose 2 kilograms then. Simple. If it means that much, make it. If it means, I don't know, changing your hairstyle, well, change it. If it means learning to, I don't know, speak better, well, then take take lessons to speak better. I don't know, whatever it is, just make it simple. Don't make it complicated. Whatever it is you want to do, whether it means you want to get a better paid job, okay. Well, how would you get a better paid job? What would it take to do that? Make a plan, work towards it. Don't wait until you've achieved it. Every time you get a bit closer towards it, pat yourself on the back, give yourself an achievement. You're getting there, you're moving the needle. And once you get there, feel more confident. It's simple. Don't make it complicated. How do you make a cake? Well, find out what ingredients you need first of all and go and get them. And jump on YouTube, watch how to do it, and make a cake. It hasn't got to be 100% first of all. It hasn't got to win an award. It's just got to be edible. And each time it gets better. And reward yourself each time. And life is just the same as that. If that's what makes you more confident, good. Because the more confident you are, the less egotistical you are, the more attractive you become. That's what I think. Amanda, what can you do with that?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about how you were saying like to do different things for what you want to achieve, but I think when we look at relationships and enhancing our relationships, we look at like what is really important to you? What are the things that are most important to you in your life? And what are you doing to enhance them? And what part of your day are you spending working on enhancing those things? And so I read a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod a while ago, and I've talked about it a few times, but one of the things I've listened to him on his podcast a few times as well. And one of the things he talks about is how in his life, he says what's the most important things, and his family is the most important thing. So he's always reading a book on being a better dad. He's always reading a book on being a better husband and like always constantly trying to grow, right? Because he knows that he doesn't know it all and that he can become a better version of himself tomorrow and can constantly trying to strive to be a better version of ourselves because we have the ability to constantly learn and change and grow as we learn more about ourselves. And so when we think about what it is that's most important to us, that's what you should be spending the most of your time doing. And I think in relationships, a lot of the time, once we get into them, we become negligent or like we just don't care anymore. We just assume and we're not putting effort in. And really, it's that effort that at the beginning of a relationship that makes you excited and feel connected and want to be in that relationship. And then when it becomes stagnant, that's when people start to be like, oh, this isn't what I'm looking for. This relationship has changed. But it's really that amount of effort that you're putting into a relationship that it has dissipated. And so for me, what I think is that if we want to enhance our relationship, then we need to look at how much time we're spending actually focusing on that relationship, whether it's a relationship with yourself, whether it's a relationship with your kids, whether it's a relationship with a partner or with friends. Like, what are you actually doing to enhance that relationship? And what are you consciously doing to enhance that relationship, not subconsciously? So, like, even with friends, are you making sure that you reach out and phone them every once in a while? Otherwise, it could go years, it could go 6 months without talking to somebody, right? And to enhance that relationship, you have to put effort into it, with a friendship too. And so if we want to enhance our marriage or our relationship with a partner, then really spend some time reading books on relationships, listen to podcasts on relationships. In any of those sort of things will give you, follow people on Instagram who are experts on relationships. They will give you hints and keys and little like aha moments as to what you can do to actually enhance your relationship. Even if it's just send a quick text saying, hey, I hope you're having a great day, right? That like can make somebody smile. And how often do you actually do that? Go out of your way to spend 3 seconds. It takes 3 seconds to send a text and say, hey, just thinking about you. Hope you have a great day. If you're not doing that in your relationship's probably not as important to you as you thought, right? And so if you want a good relationship, then you both have to be consciously putting effort into it and consciously trying to grow your relationship and really being willing to look at your ego and to work on yourself. Because I guarantee you all relationships that have failed are not the other person's fault. It's a combination of both, right? And if it wasn't working well, then be brave enough to end it and be like, I wish you well, you're a wonderful person. This relationship just isn't working for me. And that's okay too, right? It's not about the one person being wrong in a relationship and the other person being right. It's about knowing what's good for you and what's healthy for you, and if something's not healthy for you, and what's healthy for one person might be not healthy for another person, because the way that we interact in our goals and our dreams are completely different. And so somebody's goal might just be to have somebody that's nice just to hang out with every once in a while, and somebody else's goal might be that they really want a strong foundation relationship where they're both building their goals and building what it is that they want to achieve and working together to achieve those goals. And if that's the sort of relationship that you want, you're not going to be happy in the other relationship, but somebody else will be. And so release that person so that they can find their happiness with somebody else in that. And I think really if you both want to grow, then you have to be willing to spend the time to grow, to enhance it, and to be conscious of that time that you are spending doing it.
Grant, you were laughing when Amanda was talking. Would you like to share why?
I always smile when I'm listening because little parts light me up, and I get this quite a lot through sessions when people say things like, "Ah, I love these little parts. I resonate with things you say," and you always articulate things in such a calm manner, and I love that. I love the way you do it. It's and of course that's you, isn't it? That's your style, and I think comes back to what we're saying. So what I'm thinking is, it's everybody's unique style. So when we're talking about releasing ego, there's every reason in the world why you should release ego. Because when you look at it, when you just stop trying to be something else and be yourself, that's where the absolute beauty is. In the way that the way Amanda articulated that, it was your unique way of doing it, and that's what makes it special. And I think that's important. And there's a lesson there for everybody listening, that you have great ways of doing things, articulating things, showing your love. Okay. Some people do it with words. As you know, there's different love language, right? There's words, there's gifts, there's actions, there's all these different ways. So what about your lover, your partner in your life? What do they like? What is it for them? What do they like? Do they like little love notes? Do they just like thoughtfulness? Do they like words? What is it? Now, you may know what you like. That's great. But they may be different. They have a different love language. So what is their love language? And get to know it. And the more you get focused on the other person, the more you give to the other person. If they're any kind of a decent person, they're going to pick up on that. And they're going to want to give more to you. So that's a great way to do it. So everybody's falling over themselves to help each other. But of course, understand their language. So what is it? Observe them. If you haven't done this already, I'm sure you probably have. If you haven't, observe them. What is it they like? How do you know what people like? Quite simple. They tend to do those kind of things to other people. What's what they do? If they're the kind of person who writes little notes to people, they probably like love notes. Okay? If they just do actions, that's it. If you think of, what are you about your parents? What did they do? Did they always tell you they loved you? If they did, they might be more audible. Yeah, they like words. If they wrote little things, actions and gifts, that's it. Or perhaps it's just the way they did things. Just the way, I mean, I come from a family really where it's not so much words. They don't say words so much, but their actions speak louder. Actions. If you ever want it, is there love there? Of course there is. Look at the actions. You don't do those for everything, for everyone. Just actions, actions, actions. That's the kind of people they are. That's the way they are. The sort of culture I'm from, the background I'm from. It's what they are. But actions, you'd have to be blind not to see it. Okay, it's there. that kind. But it's never really articulated very much in words. You may think, oh, it's a shame. I don't think so, because the evidence is right there in front of you. But for some people, it's words. It's a very lots of words, lots of telling people how they feel. Some it's gifts to show how they appreciate some whatever. But it's worth looking out for this love language for the people you're surrounded by to see what is the special thing for them. Okay. Because if you can learn to communicate, and communication is one of my key things, learn to communicate with people, you will find their way to the heart, the mind, the soul quicker than anything. So take a moment, be selfless, and think of the other person. Understand their language, try it out, and see how far you get with that, because I think you'll unlock some hidden treasures. What about you, Nomsa? What is your love
I
language?
want to jump in. I love that you brought up that book because that book has so much power to help you understand other relationship, like other people. And they even have a book called The Five Love Languages of Children, which looks at your children. And I think there's one for teenagers too. I just haven't read that one, but I have read the one for children and the five love languages as well. And I think it's really important going into a relationship that you're able to communicate what your love languages are and that there you're able to open up that conversation on what it is that you need to feel loved and what it is, and then that allows you to open up the conversation with them as to what they need from you in order to feel loved, because there it's a two-way street, right? You need to be able to show them that you love them in the way that they need to be loved, and they need to be able to show you that you love them in the way that you need to feel loved. And it's the same for us with our children as well. And that's why that book on the five love languages of children is really great too, because it's like, oh, this is what my kid needs to feel loved. Or you can even, and then you start to see that they're not the exact same as you. They don't need the same things that you do to feel loved. They're going to need something else a little bit unique to them as well. And so I love that book. It's a really good one. And there's a number of books that I've read on relationships and growing relationships and having a healthy relationship and making sure that you take time to be conscious with your relationship by having intentional conversations on dates and things like that to make sure that this is a healthy fit for you.
Glad you mentioned that, Amanda, because I was racking my brains to try to think of the name of the author because I wanted to edify them. And it's Gary Chapman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it Gary Chapman? Yeah, yeah, it's a great book. Nomsa, are you aware of the book? I mean, what is your love language? Not that I'm trying to, you know, but just what is your love language? What's your husband's love language? Do you know? Have you played around with that idea? You're muted.
My love language is not gift, is the quality time. And we are both the same as well. I don't, if if you buy me a gift, it doesn't mean anything to me. I will just say thank you, I'll appreciate it. But if you give me time and spend time with me, just sharing and opening up and sharing uh, stories with me and just being like bringing out your inner child and just chatting and getting to know you and also just communicating about how I can save you as a person, helping me to understand. Because when I entered a relationship, I enter a relationship with the mindset of saving, giving, receiving, and also understanding the meaning of love, what it means, loving unconditional. It means I have to surrender what I think I know about the person and basically pretend as I don't know this person, and every single day ask questions, not to assume. That helps me a lot in a relationship. And also acceptance, self-acceptance, it does help me in a relationship. And also accepting the other person for who they really are, not trying to change them to be who I want them to be. I don't do that. It's like I have my children, like at school, like when I go to school, with the kids. There are some things that I wouldn't tell my spouse if they happen straight away. I have to tell him a month later because he is not like me. Me, I'm so calm when it comes to relationship, when it comes to love for the children. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation, Amanda, but my spouse thinks that he is very protective in a way that if you hurt his children, he'll let you know about it. Like when you say Ellie's being bullied at school and stuff, I wouldn't tell him that thing yet. If I have to, it means I have to deal with it myself with the emotions first if I can. Because if I tell him, his mindset is like, if I hand over my child as a parent, you should know better. Do not put my child in a don't put my child in a situation where they cannot defend themselves. And he will not take no for an answer. So you have to have a solution with him. So I don't tell him I have to solve it. And then I tell him after, and then I tell him, he goes, you are right. I will just tear everything down. So that's how much is very protective. So for me, it's just to understand and get to know the person without judging them, and knowing that we are not all perfect in life. Everybody has their own uh, faults and stuff. And also the other thing that I don't do in a relationship is not to sweep things under the carpet. I don't do that anymore because that destroys a relationship. I don't know if you have ever been in that situation where if you don't express your feelings or if you don't address the situation, it destroys you inside. So I don't do that anymore. I used to do that. But now what I do is if there is something that I feel it needs to be addressed, I address it. And my spouse is the same as well. When he feels that there's something that he needs to address it, he will address it straight away. Or sometimes I go to bed late. So if he feels like, okay, Nomsa, now you're ignoring me, you go to bed 2 days late, he'll be like, okay, I'm going to bed. Are you coming? I'm like, okay, hold on. Yes, I'm coming. So he does not hold anything. So I think it's very, very important to actually communicate in a relationship, and also if you are not happy about something, address it straight away. And the other thing is that I had to get rid of is screaming at somebody and shouting at them. I don't do that anymore, but I always address the situation, making sure that the other person know where we stand. And I find it helps a lot. Really, really, just being open, and also the other thing is accepting feedback gracefully. So I accept any feedback that my spouse may have. I just I'm just open to it, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, without becoming defensive. So because I know that feedback is an opportunity for me to grow and to improve. So whatever feedback he might have, I take it, I accept that. And I also am always have a relationship coach myself. Although I'm a relationship coach, I listen to like YouTube, listen to other people relationships. I sometimes I don't understand something, I'll do some research. And mostly I pray a lot and I find I get guidance from God because I don't think I can do things on my own, meditate a lot. I never approach the situation without praying or without fasting. And if I pray about it first, whatever is troubling me, releasing my ego, it's like I'm surrendering to say, I don't know how to deal with this. So here's me asking God, because God is the universe and the universe to intervene in whatever is going on. And I find it easy if I'm looking for a solution, or even with my spouse, He will come in and walk in to the door. I have not said, opened my mouth. So you actually give me a solution of what I've been worrying about. You just talk about it and we just laugh about it. Or sometimes maybe I'm just worrying about something that is not there. So when I pray about it, I get solution to say, okay, nothing to worry about. It happens. I never ever like say, okay, I'm a relationship coach. I'm better than you. You are not a relationship coach. So yeah, listen, I never see my relationship that way. I always have to find ways to approach it. But it's tough. It's not an easy thing today when you're dating somebody who is not into relationship coaching. It's not easy. So you always have to find ways. Because like a grant you said before, embarrassing moment. I all yeah is true actually. I always when I'm approaching a situation, I always have to make sure that the other person does not feel bad about it. Because to me, I'm a relationship coach. There's some things that I'll see, and then I know this is wrong, and then I'll sort it out. But when I'm approaching things with my spouse, I have to make sure that he does not go to a place where he feels himself wrong or you will start blaming himself. But before I got into a relationship coaching, or if you do something wrong, I'll make sure you feel it. Honestly, I will make sure you feel the wrong that you've done to me. But now I don't.
There's nothing worse than a woman's scorn, as they say.
When you're at school, like you're wanting to your friends to know that when they've done something wrong, you stick it to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people do that in relationships, actually.
Oh, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's what was the joke I saw a little while ago? When do you, what's it? Somehow a woman's memory or something. Yeah, she'll always remember the things you did wrong and remind you on a regular basis. As I say, is it hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Amanda, it's 2 minutes 2 minutes before two. What do you think? Do you have anything? I know you're gonna want to shoot off in a minute.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. here, so I need to get ready to go to work. But I think that if you really want to enhance your relationship, really start looking at the amount of time you're spending on doing that, right? And if you're not consciously spending time doing that, then there's no possibility to actually enhance your relationship because you're not consciously trying to grow that area of your life. And so if you want to enhance relationships, then you need to start reading books, listening to podcasts, spending time actually making sure that you are putting in that effort to ensure that your relationship is strong, because relationships are about connection and our ability to connect with others, with our partners, with our friends, with our children. And so if you want to enhance those relationships, then how much time are you spending actually making sure that there is that connection there? So that's what I'll end on. I do need to get going, but it's been a fantastic conversation today.
Okay. And I
Thanks,
think
Amanda. And where can people find you before you go?
Oh, just on my website here, www.artmindfulnessandcreativity.com.
Awesome.
And I think my final words are going to be again, it all starts with us. It all starts with us, our confidence. And that also means having confidence in yourself to perhaps find if situations aren't right for you. Take care, Amanda. If situations aren't right for you, that takes confidence too. But in confidence, it's always about checking their ego. So start with ourselves first. Have a look at their ego. Keep it out of the way because there's no room for ego in a relationship. It doesn't do it any good. If you want any evidence of that, remind yourself of when you've been in a relationship and someone's been egotistical with you. It really isn't a great thing to have. It doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. Now, you may be thinking, yeah, I'm not egotistical, but the other person is. Fine. My philosophy for that is this: keep doing the right things. Keep being non-egotistical, keep leading by example, sooner or later the other person will see it and they will start to reform. If not, you can tell them a story what you heard today. Again, no big confrontation. Say, you need to be less egotistical, because that becomes like an arm wrestling match. They can become defensive. If you tell a story, maybe the stories we spoke about here today, I was listening to the story and they were saying in a relationship this. But don't say it's about your partner. It's about other relationships. When you tell them that, they'll listen, because it's not confrontational to them. They'll probably listen and think, good point. And they'll probably start adapting that lesson, become less egotistical. You will find more love in your heart for them and you'll compliment them more. They will find more love in their heart for you and recognize how non-egotistical you are, and then find more reasons about you. So go out there and find things to compliment people for. And if they are being a bit egotistical, just compliment them anyway. Because if you compliment them, they won't have much room or any need to be so egotistical. So lead from the front, be the star in a relationship, and see how the others will follow too. And then if you want them to lead, just lead first, because they will want to lead sooner or later. So just play a bigger game and be a bigger person, and then you will learn to love yourself more. If you want to contact me more, it's grants.morell at Instagram, or connect with me via the show, and Nomsa, I, or any of us could help you even more to find that perfect partner, as I'm taking my time to find my right one. All right, you take care, and over to you, Nomsa.
Thank you so much, Grant. For me, I just leave you guys with this: practice humility, express gratitude always in a relationship, and also, like Grant said, develop a growth mindset is very important. Seek professional help if it's needed in a relationship. Know that even relationship coaches, they have their own coaches as well. So it's important to have a professional that you can seek help when you need it. And if you want to follow us, guys, please do follow us on our social media. And if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And on Facebook, we have Unique Billionaire Mindset Group and Ngozi Talk Shows Group. And like our page, Hope Spring and Ngozi Talk Shows page, please do like us and be part of our family. We are on Twitter as well and Instagram. And live with grace, everyone, and God bless.